Hello. We are back from the dead, and we're back with a video that's a little different. I had a Pokemon Conquest ROM hack video planned, but I saw a couple of these Cobblemon videos pop up on my feed a few months ago, so I decided to give it a try myself. I used to play a fair bit of Minecraft when I was younger, and figured this would be a fun time. For those of you who aren't aware of what Cobblemon is, it's a Minecraft mod that introduces the world of Pokemon to Minecraft Java, adding a whole other layer to the Minecraft experience. You've got over 600 Pokemon to catch in all the different biomes, mints to change natures, a variety of Pokeball crafting, and the list goes on. For this video, I had the intention of completing the Pokedex in vanilla Cobblemon, but I quickly changed my mind after seeing how massive the Pokemon pool is. There is probably little chance that I can catch all the Pokemon in this mod in 100 days. In order to fit recording this video with my daily schedule, I figured for once I'll take it easy and just aim to defeat the Ender Dragon and the Wither. So sit back, relax, and grab something to eat while you're at it. Hopefully, the shenanigans and adventures I had in the next 100 Minecraft days will be entertaining. In this journey, I was joined by my cousin, who we'll call Kyle. He spawned right on top of a tree for some reason. While he was punching his way down a mushroom tree, I opened the Cobblemon starter menu and picked Torchic immediately. There was no question really, I am a confirmed Hoenn baby. Then we punched some trees. While Kyle was busy starting us off with the basic Minecraft necessities, I was doing all I could to help by training my Torchic against wild Pokemon. Before we knew it, Torchic was ready to evolve into a Combusken. I felt bad and helped with the tree cutting, then went right back into fighting wild Pokemon. Before we knew it though, night had fallen and we pretty much had nowhere to sleep, let alone beds to speed up the process. I was urging Kyle to hurry up and go, but he had other plans. He had to train a Cyndaquil first. The number of mobs were starting to overwhelm us, so I crafted 2 boats and we both got on to find a good place to settle. Not that far from spawn, we found a nice abandoned village where we can set up our starter base, and Kyle got absolutely mauled by a Sharpedo. I almost met the same fate, but thankfully we just about made it by the skin of our teeth. We waited for a bit until the sun rose, and stormed the abandoned village while cleaning up the mobs. We set our spawns and made this spot our base. We planted some Oran berries, expanded the small hut, and leveled our Pokemon for a bit. We needed some copper to craft the early Pokeballs, so I went ahead and gathered some ores for us to smelt. We crafted some love balls out of pink apricots, and I caught a Magikarp to ease my travel restrictions. It wasn't hard to level the Carp, and not long after we had a Gyarados. With another add-on to Cobblemon, we can ride the Gyarados, and its flying typing enabled us to soar through the sky and traverse the world way easier. It was still quite slow though. At this point, I was actually quite useless, with Kyle out gathering the actual necessary materials for our base. I watched in delight as he made his run to our beds. The fact that there were about 200 spiders outside the hut did not help. We explored our surroundings and found a Gimme Gold tower, and I decided to catch a Tailo instead. Upon its evolution into a Swallow, this bird flew a lot faster than the Gyarados. Kyle found some diamonds not long after, and naturally, while he was busy gathering precious ores, I was off training my Combusken. Before long, we were able to evolve it into a Blaziken, making exploration a bit easier. I added the Cobblemon Fight or Flight mod, which enabled our party Pokemon to attack other Pokemon outside of battle, as well as normal Minecraft mobs. We then decided to make a strip mine near the base, in hopes of finding more diamonds. I heard Kyle saying something about a spawner, so I rushed there very quickly, only to fall right into the spawner itself. Made it out safely though. In the near future, this would be our early XP farm. Over the next few days, Kyle was busy with work, so we ventured forth alone on our newly evolved Pidgeot, looking for new biomes and Pokemon near our base. We couldn't find anything interesting, so back we go to the spawner to build that XP farm. I looked up Shulker Craft's tutorial on the spawner farm and got right to building. I was missing a few key ingredients to the farm, so off we go to harvest some obsidian. After making a discount portal, we went to the Nether, which spawned us right beside this Piglin fortress. This was pretty cool. We rode on Pidgeot for a bit to look for soul sand, and this didn't take too long. This whole building period took me a good few days, considering I was pretty rusty on Minecraft, but we finally got it done, I think. Nope, we had a leak somewhere. Now we got it done. Prepping for the eventual enchanting room construction, I had a sugarcane line ready outside, and all we had to do was look for a leather. I was a bit too lazy to build an actual cow farm, so we went on a hunt for Bouffalons and Tauruses outside the base. We definitely slaughtered a good chunk of these guys. I didn't plan on making the enchanting room nice, but I guess I decided to just go for it and make it decent looking. After gathering a bunch of dark oak, we cleared out some more space around the spawner and made the room a bit cozier. Right after, I kind of gave up on getting the materials just from Bufalon Centaurus and eventually created a quick area for cow breeding. With this, the enchanting room was mostly done. We just needed to fill it with more bookshelves for the level 30 enchantments. At around this time, we had a very welcome guest near the cow farm, a tepig. I immediately scrambled to get Pokeballs, hoping we would catch it without much of a fight. Thankfully, we didn't waste too much time and caught it quickly. We trained for a bit against wild Pokemon and had it evolve into an Emboar. And I think we spent a fair bit after this just farming leather and sugarcanes for the books and bookshelves, and the enchanting itself. The intention was to get a Fortune 3 pickaxe for strip mining later, in preparation for the harder areas of the game. And so, we have arrived at the most exciting part of the video, strip mining. It wasn't a bad haul to be honest, but not the best. We crafted a set of diamond armor and enchanted every piece, which took a good bit. The whole strip mining and enchanting bit probably took over 5 in-game days, which was honestly my bad. I got lost in the process and forgot I was recording a video. After all was done, we hopped on our Pidgeot and scoured the surroundings for more interesting Pokemon. Nothing too exciting happened here I believe, except for these phantoms attacking us mid-air. It was a bit hard to fight them in the air without a bow, but we survived the trip back nonetheless. The next day, we ventured deep into a cave opening on the side of a mountain, and we stumbled upon an end city. I didn't spend too long here, thinking if my Pidgeot faints, I'll have no way to escape the area quickly. We still haven't built a healing machine for our Pokemon, so off we go to find a lush cave biome for a revive herb. I recall there was an azalea tree near our spawn, so we trekked back to the original spawn and found the tree. We dug down for a good bit and finally found the lush cave biome, where we found some diamond lying in the open. The herb itself was a bit of an enigma. For me, it was quite hard to find in the cave. We flew a bit around the area and found it hiding in a small clearing. We avoided the wild Pokemon attacks, nabbed the herb, and went back to the original dig spot to escape. We planted the herbs in the base and sorted our items. Then I started catching a lot more Pokemon to see what our options were. We went pretty far to be fair. It was just quite unfortunate that the biomes generated wasn't as diverse as it could be. While we did find our share of villages, there wasn't much that we could see Pokemon spawning wise. With that said, we did continue catching Pokemon around our base's plains biome. We found an Elekid just roaming about, so we caught it immediately. We evolved it into an Electabuzz and crafted an Electrolyzer soon after. With the link cable that we found in a village somewhere, we were able to evolve our Electabuzz into an Electivire. There was a raider outpost near our base, and I figured it was a good time to see how much having our Pokemon team beside us would affect fights against vanilla Minecraft mobs. And honestly, it made it really easy. After hitting enemies once to trigger aggro, they just pretty much ganked on the mobs and ended the fight very quickly. Fighting enemies had never been easier. At this point, I was wondering how the fight against the Ender Dragon was going to play out. On our way back, we emptied the Scow's udders and drank her milk, removing the bad omen from the fight. After, we spent 2 nights at the frozen ocean biome, hoping we would encounter a Piplup, but that didn't go over so well. The next morning, we finally started the way overdue base construction. My creativity in Minecraft is probably next to nothing, so I looked up this nice tutorial on how to build a nice and cozy cottage house. The plan was to build this cottage and connect it to the hut we had been using for the base and see how it turned out. We cut down some trees, built the foundation, got jumped by a Krabby, and went back into construction. During the process of building the base, the Golbat that I caught finally evolved into a Crobat. This Crobat was probably the fastest flying Pokemon available closest to me at this point, and I desperately needed a fast moving flyer. This made traversing the world a lot faster and more convenient. The house took a good 4 to 5 days and we finally have a proper base. It'll be good for when Kyle finally pops back in. We added some more finishing touches, did the interior, and paved some dirt roads. The abandoned village reconstruction was looking up. I heard a repeating Pokemon cry near the base and looked over to check. To my surprise, there was a Sobble inside this abandoned fence. I thanked my luck and called a weaker party member to beat it up before catching. It took a good few tries, but we finally had a proper water type in the party. Not a day later, we were able to evolve the Drizzle into an Inteleon. Look how fast he moves in the water. Carl finally popped back in for another session, and I took the time to show him my new party members. We had to get him a flying type with decent speed to fly around with, so he decided to catch its halo. It wasn't an entirely flawless process, but he got it done nonetheless. We flew quite far to find a desert biome, and the far track finally paid off. We spent a few days out on the desert to try and find a Trapinch. This was probably one of the more frustrating experiences, as the Trapinch really didn't want to spawn. Since the beginning of the playthrough, I have set my aims on catching a Trapinch, but I guess it just wasn't meant to be. We went back to base after a rather unsuccessful exploration, and helped Kyle get 2 of his favorite Pokemon. He would then leave again, never to be seen. Easily the saddest day of this channel's history. Press F in the chat for Kyle's disappearance. After he left, I finally decided to craft a healing machine, which only left us with a gas tier to collect. We went for a quick trip to the Nether, found a gas chilling near the fortress, and promptly ended its career. We collected its bodily fluid, and voila! After so many days, we finally have a healing machine. This would have been a lot more useful in the early game. I went back to the desert in an attempt to find the godforsaken Trapinch again, and spent 2 days there. Of course, it just didn't want to spawn. But enough dilly-dallying, we were off to the Nether again, this time to collect ender pearls. Fortunately, there was a warp forest biome near our portal spawn, so encountering endermen wasn't really a problem. The ender pearl drop was feeling quite slow, so after enchanting a diamond sword with looting 3, we went back, and quickly gathered about 20 ender pearls. What made the gathering process a lot harder was definitely not the endermen themselves, but the wild Pokemon in the vicinity. It really felt like the Pokemon in the Nether were a lot more aggressive and hostile compared to the overworld, so we were being attacked every 2 seconds. The attacks by the ghastly lines sucked a lot more than the others though. They have this attack that blinds us immediately. The jump scares were quite real. Then came the moment I was dreading the most. The blaze rods. I couldn't really put my finger on which Pokemon drop blaze rods in the overworld, so I went ahead to the Nether Fortress, which was quite close to the warped forest biome. I actually was really lucky to have everything quite close together. Here, everything was just out to get us. The piglins, the blazes, the Cerulege and Armarouge, it was just not a good time at all. The blaze spawner had no roof, so isolating it was quite difficult, and the server was lagging quite a bit, so it was difficult to respond quickly. I ended up just tanking the blazes near the spawner, got about 20 rods and called it a day. We flew back to the base and got ready for our trip to find the end portal. We hopped on our flying ride and started throwing the Eyes of Ender. The eyes started pinpointing at an area about 5 minutes away from base by flying, unfortunately on a body of water. We made an entrance for dry digging and started just digging down. 1 eternity later, we finally found our entry to the stronghold. All that was left was just to find the end portal room. That in itself didn't take too long, we just generally explored the stronghold quite peacefully. We put down some signs so we don't get lost, and headed back home to prepare for the Ender Dragon fight. By this point, the zombie spawner farm was too slow and I couldn't get the infinity bow in time, so I just crafted about 1.5 stack of arrows. We also fended off a small raid while gathering arrows, but this was a pretty sad slaughter. We went straight back to the portal after crafting the arrows, and off we go to the end. We dug ourselves out, and immediately rode on Crobat. And this flying Pokemon made the fight quite a joke. The dragon really didn't stand a chance. It was very easy to get the orbs at the start of the fight, and the dragon breaths pretty much have little ways of hitting us. From start until the end, this fight took us about 3.5 minutes. Still quite long compared to what others have achieved, I'm sure. We got the dragon egg and teleported through to watch the credits. This alone took 20 Minecraft days. I'm kidding, I skipped it, like any other sane person. We went back to the base and prepped ourselves for the next natural sequence after beating the Ender Dragon. The Enderman farm, of course. Eagle-eyed viewers will notice my experience sitting at absolute 0, and that's because I died and fell into the void while building the farm off camera. I thought it wasn't going to be eventful, so I turned the recording off. Shame on me for my lackluster content creator instincts. Multiple near misses later, we completed the farm and had our new and better EXP farm. No sweet EXP noises. I took the time to set up another enchanting room for easy access, dismantling the library in the stronghold with a Silk Touch axe. Thankfully, we didn't encounter any falling incidents this time. I used the leftover clay from all the Gimmighoul towers, and this room turned out pretty cramped, but it's honest work. We would spend another 2 days here just looking for nice enchantments. I did go to find end cities afterwards to look for new Pokemon, but seemingly the ones who spawned here were just Elgyms, Beheeyums, and Sigilyphs, so I wasn't really sure if there were any more Pokemon designated to spawn. I found an end ship not far from the portal spawn, so I killed off all the shulkers while flying on Crobat and took the elytra. With the hull, we went back to the base to store it. We put the elytra in the base because I was pretty sure we weren't going to use it. After this, we went to the nether again and trekked far to build another portal, in an attempt to find other biomes to explore far away from base. We did get somewhere, I guess, despite the initial spawn, and we found a snowy mountain biome. Here, I realized I didn't bring any Pokeballs, since I lost them in the void, and spent a while just trying to craft them. I realized this right when I saw this Rowlet spawn, and immediately hurried to craft the balls. But alas, fate decided that we weren't going to catch the Rowlet. It despawned by the time the balls were done. We encountered a Hisuian Sneasel and this Riolu here. I guess this far trip wasn't all that useless. I'm sure you've noticed, but we did pass the 100 days mark already. I didn't realize at this point of playing. I guess I was just enjoying myself quite a lot. I didn't make the most progress. I'm quite aware I'm not the best Minecraft player out there, but this was fun. We didn't manage to summon the Wither within 100 days, but it was nice seeing the progress while writing the script and scrolling through the footage. We did fly back to the desert for one final attempt to find a Trapinch, and lo and behold, we actually found one right as I wanted to give up. We caught it and took it home to train. Not a day later, we were able to evolve it into a Flygon, and I hopped on its back to take to the skies at blazing speeds. Except this Flygon couldn't really fly. I guess if the Pokemon doesn't have an explicit flying typing, the mod wouldn't let it fly. God damn it. And so this flightless Flygon brings us to the end of this shorter video. I'm not sure this fits so much with the channel, but I had a blast. I do want to try and beat the Wither in the chance that this becomes a series, but I'll leave it up to you guys. Let me know in the comments below if you want me to continue playing in Cobblemon or what other complementary mods to try. Otherwise, I hope you enjoyed your stay, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.